Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and welcome to a soulmate snapshot today. So, we're looking at what kind of energies are headed your way. We know from some of the previous readings that there's been a new soulmate coming your way. We'll look and see if that wants to come up. I know for some of you, you've already encountered this person, and so you'd be wondering, well, what's next? So let's take a look and see kind of what kind of people, energies, experiences are coming your way. So it's going to be kind of a general reading, general for this collective. So if it does resonate with you, maybe stick around and take a look at some of the other messages that are out there, because everything ends up being very connected on this channel. So let's see here. Jumping in, we're going to get that energetic and emotional backdrop for the day. This is the big picture for the day. Let's just kind of see. And this is just you. We aren't looking at, so yesterday we did it with you and your person in the third party situation. This is just you as we look to see kind of what's heading your direction. We've got a Three of Cups in reverse. Still a little bit of that, I want to call it antisocial feeling that popped up. I think it might have been in the extended yesterday, but it's not antisocial exactly as much as just needing to kind of get a little bit of different energy. Oh, this is upright. Needing to get into a more of a solitary energy and not a super social one. So we have the Three of Cups in the reverse, which is what I was interpreting as a little bit less social. Seven of Water in the upright. Here are all of the options that are available to you, and you need time to think about them. Two of Cups in the upright. You have a union staring you down, and the World. You are at the end of a cycle. So this is kind of the place where you find yourself. So you've got this new energy looking to kind of get your attention and maybe bring you into a partnership. And yet you've got this energy of something that's ending and a cycle that's ending right now, which is frankly taking up an awful lot of your energy. So you've got options. You're able to recognize those. You're not able to see all of them. So this person, this energy that's wanting to partner with you feels like it's pretty close by, but you might not be registering it for what it is. I'm not saying that this could be somebody that's close by as in a situation that has not yet occurred. The fun thing about looking at what's coming your direction is that you never actually get to see what's coming your direction. You get to see, and I can't imagine how other readers want to explain that, because you have people's free will that is in the big picture. And so it's a matter of, I can tell you the direction the energies are going, and then you're going to apply your own free will to it, which is actually pretty cool. Because if you say, I know there's something that is an opportunity that's nearby, you can keep your eyes open for it. You can also recognize that maybe the situation that's ending, or the energy that's coming to a close, because it's a pattern, or not a pattern, a cycle that's coming to a close, but you may be engaged in you are going to be engaged in numerous cycles. So it's a matter of, how does that play out against the rest of what's happening in your life? With the Seven of Water, though, there are certain things that you're not able to see, and even knowing that, it may not totally clear it up for you. And this feeling of almost antisocial feeling over here, I just kind of I used the example in yesterday's reading, and again, I think this popped up in the extended, so if you didn't see that, you won't have seen it in the reading. It's this feeling of kind of wanting to like just curl up and read a book, but knowing that that's not an option for you, or whatever it is not an option for you. It's very difficult. You may have to find other ways to get it done. I had talked about having small children and not even being able to find time to shower. And back when that was my situation, I remember being kind of frustrated when people say, oh, you look overworked, you need to take a rest. And it was kind of like, well, I agree, but there's not really an option for this. As I became, as I had more time as a parent, I began to find ways to accomplish that without shirking on my duties. Sometimes it's not possible. Other times there are ways that you can kind of figure it out, but they're not necessarily the conventional ways. That's got a lot of that Three of Cups, kind of find a way to make yourself happy here. And it may be unconventional. It may be meditating in an airport surrounded by a ton of people. It may be difficult to say what it may look like for you, but you've got to kind of open your mind up a little bit for that one. Oh, I just dropped a whole bunch of cards on the floor. Let's see. I had some come up too. So we'll look at all of them. We've got the Queen of Swords that came up first. So this Queen of Swords is super awesome, helpful energy, especially, and now I feel like you guys have to go look at the extended from yesterday. So there was, we had masculine and feminine energy come up, where the masculine energy was pretty much in, it was the Emperor, and the Emperor was in balance. The Empress was in the reverse and was not in balance, but it was like the Queen of Cups part of it wasn't in balance, okay? So the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords came up as some of your masculine energy that would be particularly well suited to helping you along while you were kind of working through the rest of the pieces. The Queen of Swords is also energy that I'm happy to see here, because it continues with that solid logic, but it also allows you to have nice balance between that King of Swords energy that you're strong in and this Queen of Swords energy that we see with you already as well. So that's part of what's going to help build your mojo. It's going to help build what is powerful about you. It's going to help build your confidence, and you're going to feel a little bit stronger about things in today's energy than maybe you did yesterday. You're also going to be able to see on the bright side. So where things might feel like you have a couple of gaps, you're also going to be able to see things that are in better balance, that where you have made some accomplishments. You're going to be able to look on the bright side as well. So that Five of Cups card that I like to see in the reverse, this is more of that feeling of it having that balance and being in the reverse. So not saying that you're not able to see things that aren't going well or that haven't gone well, just that you're able to count your blessings and see the positives also. With the Devil card in the reverse, this is really a matter of you're not tempted today for something that you maybe experience a lot of temptation for on many other days. Could be anything, but it feels like you're lacking a little bit of that temptation today, and just a little bit more able to walk the high road. But it has to do with some kind of you have crested some sort of hill. You have accomplished something in this energy. That's what the Six of Wands wants to tell you. There's something very positive that you've done. And you've already made this accomplishment. So whatever it is, it's something that's kind of coming back to remind you that you're capable, remind you that you can do what you say, remind you that you can operate in integrity, which is something that comes up every once in a while. We've got the Three of Chalices here that's suggesting that you may need to be a little bit more social or socially facing than you feel like being. So over here we have find time for yourself with the Three of Cups in the reverse. And here we have essentially, but you are also going to need to find the ability to be somewhat social with this chalice, the Three of Chalices card. You also have the World here coming up in the upright, which it comes up in the upright over here. Here it's the end of a cycle. Here it's more happy ending sort of energy. So I feel like once you find the edge of something positive today, you have a tendency to want to ride it. So you are, you tend toward something that's a little bit more positive. And I'm not suggesting like unrealistically so, just you have a tendency toward that. With the Four of Chalices though, there's something that's kind of, it's constantly sticking in there. So you're able to look on the positive side with this Ten of Pentacles here, but you're also with the Four of Chalices able to remember a disappointment or something that feels a little bit like depression and feels a little bit like not being able to move forward quickly. You've got mystery here with the Moon coming out. This has it has almost a strange, it's not quite a strange feeling as it is muffled. Like there's a feeling of your emotions being a little bit muffled. You're able to move toward the positive, but there is this sense of things not being as strong or clear as they often would be. I feel that a little bit with that Seven of Cups up here too. It's not, don't let it worry you too much. But it is definitely not a comfortable sense of being muffled if you feel like you can't do anything about it. We've got the Knave of Wands here, though. What I'm feeling about this Knave of Wands is a potential for you to misinterpret something. And that's not at all what I would expect to get off of that card. So if you're going to go look it up in the book, you aren't going to find that I don't think you're going to find that definition in there, but it's kind of got that sense to it. When you find something that is bothering you, take a deep breath, because you have a lot happening in here. You have kind of a full range of possibilities, and it feels like you get on a path and you kind of stay there. So if you can get on a positive path and stay there, that's great. If you get on a negative path, you're going to kind of stay there. So my suspicion is, when you find something positive that you want to lock on to, I don't want to say that, because I feel like you also have this feeling of like an awareness that you're not seeing your full picture. I think when you have partnerships staring you down, or this social situation staring you down over here, that's where things might start to get a little bit more challenging for you, and you're going to have to look to the whole situation. Otherwise, you may have a little bit of this disappointment wanting to kind of pull you down. Let's take a look at the energy that's actually heading your way, and we'll take into consideration the mood that you're in, or the energy that's kind of around you today, because it's really wants to. It's a sticky energy. Let me say that, because it's not even positive or negative. It's sticky, and it wants to stick to you and kind of drag you in whatever direction that it goes. So you've got the Five of Earth here. Oh man, you guys are not easy on yourselves, are you? So you've been working through, let me explain that. That sounds worse than it is. You guys have been working through this lesson with your person. The place where your lessons kind of have overlapped has been in the area of that fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, betrayal. I call those the big three: abandonment, rejection, and betrayal. Those fears are, both of you have been working through those. Now, you have made some good progress as you've been working through them with your soulmate, but they are not complete. You still have more work to do there. And you have a balance that's coming to you that it basically, after you've been through this a couple of times, so you've been through a cycle with this person and possibly with others probably before them, because you already had an injury, a psychological injury that you were addressing as you were coming into a situation with this person. Now, hold on. There was another one in here. There it is. So it's Cups. As you were coming into the situation with this person, you were already kind of working on something here. You are being given another opportunity to work on it. You are, however, going to be absolutely in a better place to do it than you were when you started with this person. So what you've already learned is going to serve you well, even though some of it you aren't quite sure how to put into place. What you're going to get here, though, is this is a person who's more interested in partnership, or an energy that's more interested in partnership. I don't know that this feels a lot like that soulmate that we've seen coming in, because it doesn't necessarily move quickly, doesn't necessarily have... it doesn't necessarily have that feeling of, well, I mean, so you could end up being friends, but you don't have to be lovers. It doesn't necessarily have that feeling of being lovers associated with it, but I also get the sense that in a lot of cases that will be how it transpires. You're in a great place to be able to accomplish this, to manifest this. That's what we have here with the Elements card. With the One of Water, that's that Cups energy, that water energy that has you being able to engage some of the emotion that's been a little bit tough for you to engage over the last probably few weeks or months, because depending on how long you've been watching these readings, you'll have noticed that there was something about this relationship with your soulmate that you had been getting the readings about that was kind of causing you to close up a little bit from an emotional standpoint. And here we see you opening up a little bit more. Now, these soulmate snapshots are supposed to be like super quick, and there's nothing super quick about this one. Or I don't think the last one that I did went very quickly. I think all of them are kind of getting a little bit longer. So, sorry if you're one of those folks that's wanting things to go really quickly. That's not the way the messages seem to be wanting to come out today. And I like to honor it. So if we get shorter videos, sometimes it's because the messages were more concise. And maybe I didn't have to shuffle as much. So we have the Ten of Swords here. This is actually going to create some pretty positive headway for you. This person that's coming in. It's stuff that you've already been working on, lessons that are not necessarily new to you, but the progress is beautiful. I've got the Ten of Swords and the Three of Swords, both in reverse. This is not just them making you feel better about old pain. It's like taking an eraser to it. It's also got this sense of the two of you being able to take your lights and shine them in the same direction. So where you may have a lot in common that might generate some struggle and challenge in communication, in some cases, it's actually going to work positively for you. Your similarities are going to work for you instead of against you in this situation. Let's see what else has come out. So we've got that Empress energy. This is what we saw kind of in yesterday's. It's a little bit of you getting triggered, I guess, in a situation where it causes you to want to run the other way, essentially. It causes you to want to run the other way, but it's a codependent response. And here is you running the other way. Okay, so, all of this is very much related. All right, so you have... and then this is too. You have this feeling that's going to kind of trigger you with the Empress in reverse that makes you want to run the other way. And this is the Fool in the reverse. Then we have the Ten of Chalices. This is you recognizing this response for what it is and saying, nope, I've done some learning. I've learned some lessons. I understand now. When I run into an energy that I don't know all about how I'm going to handle it, there's an ability to step back and evaluate it. That's what the Ten of Chalices lesson was really all about. It's the response. Instead of just bailing like your previous soulmate did, the other soulmate that you may still be getting readings about. This is you not taking that path because you've seen the impact of it and because you've learned some lessons. This Four of Swords is about the healing that you've done. This Ten of Chalices is about you saying, you know what? I'm going to get closer and figure out what I'm dealing with before I rule it out. Okay, let's see here. What else wants to come out for you? Well, we've got the Two of Pentacles. So it does kind of knock you off your game a little bit. Again, though, I don't see that being a huge deal. I see you looking at it and saying, I'm about to make a wrong decision, or worst case, I'm in the process of making a wrong decision. So this is the Judgment card. This is something not passing judgment. You're not immediately going to respond to this soulmate the way that, it's not necessarily going to be the way that you would hope. And you remember how we saw in previous readings here just a couple days ago, it was an energy coming in that you were going to look at it and say, oh gosh, what have I said so far? Because it was not immediately obvious to you the role that this person or this energy was going to play. And so you kind of discount it at first or don't consider it to be as important as it ends up being. And later go, oh boy, what have I said so far? What do I need to do? Is there damage control? So you've got the Six of Swords here. This is telling me you're going to have time to work that through. You're going to be okay. And we're stopping there. So that's kind of what's coming your direction. There is going to be a little bit of a discombobulated feeling where you aren't sure how to proceed and you think about running away or you think about cutting things off. You feel maybe like you're going to bail. And then you remember, nope, that's not the way that this should be handled. I've seen this go poorly. This doesn't pass judgment. You have a little bit of time to think about it, and you can reevaluate how you want to handle that. Again, though, with this energy of this one of water, that Ace of Cups coming through, you actually have the emotional wherewithal to manage what's happening here. But it looks like it's going to have a hiccup or two. Let's get you some advice on how you're going to address that when you run across it. What's the best thing for you to be thinking about or considering, or just practical advice for you along the way? So we've got the Maiden of Air and the Crone of Water. All right. Let the love guide you. So the very thing that looked like it was a little bit out of balance in you in the first place had to do with a codependent response to something that you catch. This is the art of you catching it and saying, oh, hold on, I've actually got the capacity to be balanced in this way, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. This Maiden of Air is what gives you kind of the fortitude to be able to communicate it, so you have the fortitude with wands to, and I don't see the wands here, but I feel it, to be that strong within yourself and say, all right, you know what? I have misinterpreted something, which we see that happening over here. I have misinterpreted something, or I've acted in a way that I don't think is the way that I really wanted to act. Maiden of Air makes you curious, or I'm sorry, it makes you curious. It more makes you, able to confidently say what has happened, but the Crone of Water is how that's what's going to drive the well of your emotion. And it's also your ability to not respond in a codependent way, and to be able to evaluate that, and to be able to say, this doesn't pass judgment, and here's the direction that I'd rather go instead, and to do it gently. You have the Two of Wands, so you're going to be the one that looks at the situation now and starts to look at excuses as to why this can't work. Maybe you're like, oh, there's an age difference where, and I'm definitely bringing up what has been considered a problem in the issue with in the situation with your soulmate. Sometimes we see this Two of Wands and it comes out in the reverse, and there's some kind of impasse that doesn't mean anything to you, but it does to them. In this case, it's like you basically turn the tables and want to do something very similar when you come in contact with this other soulmate. Then you have the Knight of Chalices here. Knight of Chalices is, this is not the card of the player, and yet it's got a little bit of that player vibe. So there's some things for you to work through, and definitely some defense mechanisms that you engage that maybe you don't often engage. This may seem like uncharted territory for you as far as how that works. You have this Queen of Chalices here. Queen of Chalices, once again, enabling you and encouraging you to be driven by love as you move through this. Allow the emotions to come through, and then allow yourself to work through them a little bit, because it may not be instantaneous how you come up with your solutions, or even that you figure out what the scope of the issue is that you may be having. And I dropped some cards. Let's see. Most of them fell face up, and I know we want this top one. So we've got 7, the Chariot. The Chariot is feeling like you're not ready to move forward yet. So you start to see that you're not maybe responding the way that you want to respond with this person. The Chariot is where you say, okay, let me stop and reevaluate this. It's almost like the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Chalices that we see over here, where you realize, oh, hey, I'm making a mistake. I have to actually evaluate this before I make a decision. And here with the Eight of Wands, it's like the Chariot in reverse. It's you kind of slowing things down to evaluate that decision, which you are going to look at this and think, that's not the direction I typically would have gone in the past. I'm not usually a slow things down and look at it kind of person. I'm more of a go rushing in kind of person. but it's the right thing for you to do. And so this may not be the person that you end up with, but it is proper practice for you to move. This is on your path. This is an appropriate place for you to go as far as figuring out what lessons you've learned. So if you are going to end up back with this soulmate that you have recently been working through some lessons with, then this is a situation that you're going to need in order to test out some of what you've learned or what you think you've learned. And so you are encouraged to move into this partnership. You may be surprised. It may be this is the partnership that lasts, where the one with your soulmate is one that it ends up not being the one that you choose to go with. So watch for it, because it's difficult to say the direction it's going to take, and you may be surprised by the direction. Not saying you will be surprised by it. I'm not going to go that far, because I think some of you kind of see it coming. You've got the Knight of Swords here in the reverse. This is that tendency to want to run away coming up again. So watch for it to resurface after you think you've already escaped it. You have the Three of Pentacles coming up in the reverse here. There are going to be other things that get in your way, whether it's family. There's a third party, and it's going to be on your side, that wants to create a bit of a challenge. They may also have something that's challenging on their side, but you're going to have something that kind of wants to get in the way of it here on your side. You're going to have to walk through it and make sure that you are able to use what you've learned in the situation with this other soulmate. So this is the Six of Pentacles, and it's about the equal give and take of emotions. So you're going to be able to feel when you're maybe not giving what you feel like you should be giving in the situation as well. And again, be able to come back and reevaluate that. You are getting the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords, this is don't believe everything you hear. And it's associated with this Three of Pentacles in particular, I feel like, where there's going to be some force that kind of works against you, as far as like a third party that gives you some kind of, it might even just be somebody that is mostly on your side, working on your behalf. Like there's somebody who wishes you well, but who says something about this new soulmate that makes you take a dim view of them. Don't believe everything you hear. Even if this is well-intentioned, it may not be correct. So you want to go ahead and, I've got a pattern here. I'm seeing a pattern of you looking into the situation and evaluating it, then deciding what to do. And so you're being encouraged to do that basically every time you get that feeling of doubt. But you do have another energy that's moving your direction. Again, maybe not moving super quickly, but it's one that gives you plenty of opportunity to use what you've learned. And it doesn't happen quickly, partially because you need to take that opportunity to use some of the lessons that you've learned, not the least of which being the the 10 of chalices here. That is that lesson of actually looking and evaluating things. So you've got some energy coming your way. It's going to help you as far as knowing what to do when you come back in touch with your soulmate, because you still have what happens when you come back in touch with them, which is not necessarily something that's going to happen in a romantic way right away. You may have a bit of a reconciliation that has to happen before any reunion would be possible, but it might be a reconciliation while you are in union with another soulmate, and so you may then have to reconcile those things as well. And I promise that doesn't always end up the way you think it's going to. So let's keep an eye on this and just kind of see what else wants to come out for this new soulmate that's coming. As far as tomorrow, I'll have to look to see what speaks the loudest in the notes that come out. I've got a couple of questions that I'm trending toward, and we'll just kind of see what feels right when the time comes and it gets to be where I get to make a reading. So thanks for being here with me for this soulmate snapshot. There's no extended on this one. It's just that snapshot to see what's coming in, and I will see you again tomorrow.